If you want to farm more effectively in Path of Exile 2, this video is for you. I combine a series of tips to make you make more orbs in Path of Exile 2, so let's dive right into it. The first one is you want to have a little bit of rarity on your gear. You can see rarity here. I think 50% is really the minimum. I'm doing some attempt on very hard content right now, so I drop a little bit this. You want to aim between 50 and 150. I think for a lot of people this is completely fine. Having more rarity will make you drop better loot, so having more rarity is going to help you. Rarity can be found on the helmet, it can be on the boots, it can be on the gloves, and it can be on the rings. Rings are boosted potentially with ingenuity, so this is where you get rarity for your gear. The next one is you need to go far from the beginning to start finding a lot of citadels. As you can see, I have one here, one here, one here. Just before I just did one here. I have a lot of citadels that are nearby because I'm far from the beginning. So pick a direction, go far, and you will start finding a lot of citadels. Every time that you're running a citadel, you can get a lot of fragment. I have a dedicated video for that, and that is going to boost a lot the exalted orb that you are making in average. Next one is you want to have increased movement speed on your boots, and you want to have a minimum percentage. It makes a huge difference if you're capable of cleaning the content very quickly, if you have or not increased movement speed. I only have 20%. I wish I would get more than 20%, like 30%. Moving quicker on the map is going to make you clean the map quicker, and it's going to make you run more maps in the same amount of time. It's very underrated for a new player, the movement speed, but it's very important. Another thing that you can do, which is around movement speed, is if you go in passive tree, you have certain passive that allow to have more movement speed. One of them is spaghettification. I believe that there is others, but I'm just not aware. It's just that this one is close to my tree. I didn't get it because I don't have enough points, but that's another thing that is going to make you increase the movement speed and make your map cleared quicker. The next point is you want to try to sell more. I think it's very important to have a lot of items to be sold, and even if you're not sure what is the price, if you're not sure what is the price, don't sell it to the merchant. You put it into a stash where you can sell it to other player. Worst scenario is that it's not selling. Another bad scenario is that you are selling it for less money that you could have, but it's still much better than selling it to the merchant and get a little bit of gold. So try to sell it and see what works, what doesn't work. After a certain time, you can lower the price, but try to sell your gear. Some of this is going to grant you some exalted, and is going to be a very nice and significant amount of added value of your farm. Okay, so the next one is you want to gamble your gold. When you have enough gold, you want to gamble it. You have different strategy with gambling gold. You can gamble on ring, on amulet, on belt. This is the most common one. Personally, I don't like amulet because unless you have the +3 on skills, it's not really, it's very hard to sell it. While in ring, you have more ring that potentially can be sold, and on belt, it's also easier to identify what kind of things can be sold. So as you are seeing it, I just make it for the video. I just buy some ring, and then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to focus on things that I know works for my build. The things that I'm looking for is rarity. Rarity is a very good stat. A lot of people are looking for it. I just mentioned it. I'm looking for cast speed. I'm looking for high mana roll. I'm looking for all resistances potentially. This is also a stat that I know that a lot of people for every build are looking for. And I try to scroll as quickly as possible through my ring. And then after, what I'm going to do is that there is going to be two different parts of the rings. One are going to be the one that are not worth a lot and I don't want to spend orbs on it, so I'm just going to try to sell it for a low amount of money. And one that I believe have a strong potential, and I'm going to add some exalted orb to make it even bigger, and I'm going to try to sell it for a high amount of money. I don't know how much those rings are worth, so I'm going to try to sell it for a certain price. I don't want to go into Path of Trade and see what is the different price of the different rings. I just guess, and then if it sells, great. If it doesn't, I'm going to lower the price. Anyway, I didn't waste a lot. I just wasted a little bit of gold at the end of the day. What I also like with the rings is that potentially you can drop a unique ring, and there is a lot of unique rings that are very, very good, such as the one that I'm using, which is Dream Fragment, and it's selling for, I think, something like 80 divine, something like this. It's completely crazy. But you have also some nice ring, like the one you see in the video. I think it's at least worth 60 or 70 exalted, which is, it's fine. Since you are still in the video, you may find value in my content. Please consider subscribing to my channel. It's a young channel and every sub counts for me. Thank you very much, and I continue with my tips. The next section is very basic, but is very important, is you need to unlock the Atlas point. So first, unlocking the Atlas point here through the quest, which is running T1, T2, T3 maps up to T15, you get 30 points. And then unlocking the side trees. I think the first one you should start is the boss, and I have a video that is dedicated to that. Then the second one is the breach, is very, very profitable and it's quite easy to unlock. And then when you are later, you can unlock the delirium. This is what I like to do, but this is much harder to do. I have started to unlock the Arbiter of Ashes, but I don't think this is something that you should focus on, or at least I think it's too much of a gamble. Regarding the two that I have not mentioned, so the expedition, this is not a content that I really like to do. I am probably going to try to unlock it just to see what it does when it's fully unlocked, but it's not something that I really enjoy to do. For the ritual, I think this is profitable, but I haven't tried it yet. It's probably my next goal into the game. The problem is that every time that you have an audience with the king, right now it's worth more than 8 divine. So unlocking those 8 points is something around 24 divine if you one-shot the boss all the time. If you fail, then it's going to cost you a lot. I know that ritual in general, they are high risk, high reward. You can get very, very nice loot, such as the audience with the king, that is worth a lot. The omen as well are really good. So potentially this is good, but this is more like a gamble, and I don't really like gambling into the game my time. So if I have gold and I gamble the gold that I managed to farm, it's fine, but going into maps and you don't know if you are going to make orbs or not, I don't really like it. So I haven't focused on it, but it can be very profitable, I'm sure. This is actually an appropriate transition to find what you like to do into the game. If you farm something that you like to do, you'll be able to farm it for longer and it's not going to feel as repetitive. So farming something that you like to do is probably a good thing. Me, I like to do breaches. I like to do delirium activities. So usually I take a map that has breaches and has no delirium. I infuse the map with delirium and I have both content in one map. This is what I like to do. Usually I also try to do it within a boss map, so I have more rarity and more quantity of items that are dropped through the map. So having these together is going to drastically boost my my effectiveness when I'm running a map. But this setup, I've been able to find it because it's something that I like, so I increase step by step the way to farm it. So if you focus on something that you like, you're gonna find a way that you are going to make more currencies. Next one is an easy one, and basically when you have a lot of concentration of items, sometimes you have a loot filter. It doesn't show up where it is really, so you just double press Z to refresh where all the items are, and it's going to be much easier to pick up the items and you are going to waste less time. This is especially true when you have breaches and you have multiple breaches that are spawning one to another. You can end up with a lot of items. I didn't record it something where it was really heavy, but you can see a little bit here. This may help you save time. The next one is going to be around map stat selection. So I made a video that is dedicated to that, so you can have a look for greater details. But what I recommend is that you don't waste good maps on bad nodes, and you don't use bad maps on good nodes. Typically here there is a citadel. You want to have a specific map for citadel with high waystone drop chance. I explain it in another video. So you don't want to use something like this, which has no drop chance of waystone on this node. To the contrary, when you are doing a tower, you want something that is probably infused with delirium, so you can have mirror everywhere and you can drop splinter. They are very concentrated, but you don't need to have a lot of rare monsters or things like this, because you're not going to face a lot of monster anyway into a tower. They are fixed it a little bit, but still not great versus a normal map. So keep the map that are very juicy for good nodes. The one with increased rarity of item, increase the quantity of item, pack size, number of rare monster, and to the contrary, keep the one that are not great with gold or experience that you infuse with delirium, and then you go on the towers with them. Next tip is you want to juice your map. When I say juice your map, it's a term that we are using in PoE to say that you want to increase the difficulty of your map, and by doing so you're also going to increase the reward that the map is going to provide to you. There is a lot of different ways to juice your map, and this is in my video on choosing your map, but it's going to be increasing the quality of your map from normal to rare to magic and then to rare. It's going to put some Val Orb to corrupt it, and it's going to be even more powerful. It's going to infuse some delirium into your map to add extra content into your map. The more complex the map is going to be, and the more reward in general you are going to have. Now the next tip is going to be around identify item that could be money maker. So for boots, potentially it's easy if you have something that has movement speed, double resistances, and potentially rarity. Those 4 stats are something that most of the players are looking for. So if you have movement speed and 2 other stats such as double resistances, then potentially it can be sold to someone. So boots are easy to see. Ring is another one that could potentially be sold. If he has high mana, if he has a lot of resistances or all resistances, this is the kind of things that people are looking for. So don't be afraid to try and sell it. Another thing is belt. If belt has double resistances quite high, like above 25, that's potentially something that can be sold. So you can try, and if you see that it's too high, maybe you lower the price after a certain amount of time, but try to sell those items that are quite easy to identify. Also, what is good with ring and belt is that they are only taking 2 spaces into your selling stash, so you can have a lot of them and you can try doing some trials and error with them. The next thing that you want to look is for things that you know what is good or bad. So if your build is using a certain thing, you know, like quiver or bows. If your build is using quiver and bows, you are knowledgeable about quivers and bows, so that's the kind of things that you will pick up as a priority. You have more chance to sell them because you know the value that they have versus the other. For me, it's wand. I know what kind of wand are better than others, so I try to sell wand. So starting with the things you know within your build has more chance to give you some value to be sold than if you are never used any real armor, like physical armor, and then now you say, okay, I'm going to try to sell them. I'm going to give you a bonus tip, and this bonus tip is to sub to my channel and follow my videos. I'm going to make a lot of videos on Path of Exile 2, and I will cover a lot of variety of topic for farming, for cleaning and game content, for beginner, for a lot of things. So you will find things that are going to be useful for you, and you are going to improve your knowledge, and you are going to get more value out of your time spent into the game. So if what I said in this video or any others has been useful to you, please consider subscribing to my channel. As you see, it's a very young channel, and every sub counts for me right now. I'm aiming for 1000 sub in a few months, so help me achieving this goal. Thank you very much for watching, and see you on the next video.